In this video, it's week 9 of Mission Improvement, where I look at what happens when I try to race without any practice or training whatsoever. How's that going to turn out, do you think? Let's take a look now from an older gamer's perspective. Week 9. Welcome to Imola. Welcome to week 9 of Mission Improvement. Where has the time gone? We are edging our way now towards the end of season 2 of 2025, and week 9 finds me racing at the legendary Imola in Italy, the home of the Ferrari team, no less. It's a fantastic track with a number of fast, wide straights combined with technically difficult turns that unfortunately offer seemingly unlimited amounts of off-tracks. And there's also a very brutal chicane. Despite all of this, I really love racing Imola. However, I seem to be in a minority amongst other C-Class MX-5 drivers, as selecting a race this week was slim pickings, with not that many drivers turning out for each hourly slot. Often there were only 2 splits, and occasionally just the 1 split. If we can still call it a split. I guess at that stage it's just a race, isn't it? Anyway, the lack of drivers, sometimes even failing to muster a full grid of 24 cars, meant this week was tough to love, which is a shame because Imola is a stonkingly good track, at least in my opinion. Perhaps it's an acquired taste. The upshot of a limited amount of people turning out for a race is the variance between drivers' experience and racing ability, which was very wide indeed. And it meant that numpty racers with half an idea, like the older gamer himself, were banging doors with alien drivers who were zipping around the track like physics wasn't really a thing. The results of this were a lead pack putting in lap times 2 or 3 seconds faster than the mid pack, who mostly struggled to stay on track. And while being in a mid pack can sometimes be exciting, it can make a 30-minute race a difficult one to fully enjoy, especially if you know from fairly early on that you will probably be finishing somewhere outside the top 10 and probably getting a -I rating for your pains. I have made this pain especially painful this week, as the time I had available to practice Imola, a track that I had never raced before, was pretty much 0. I had no time for time attack or time trial, or to study Garage 61, or even bring up Trophy AI's helpful overlays, which all meant I needed to learn the track by racing the track. Not always a good or smart option. That being said, I was interested to see, after 8 weeks of attempting Mission Improvement, of trying to improve my racecraft, could I actually do this? Did I have the ability to race a track I don't know? It's interesting to try this because we all have busy lives, and some weeks, like many of you, I simply don't have enough time to practice a track and race a track. It's either one or the other. So the question is, at this stage in my iRacing career, do I actually know enough to just drop into a track that, in the case of Imola, I don't know at all, and simply learn that track by racing the track? Let's find out.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Week 9. Results and race of the week. The short answer to the last question is a doubtful maybe. Looking at the results for this week, you can see that in one race alone, I notched up 16 incident points in 30 minutes. Ouch. And a lot of my races seem to be with the leaders running away ahead of me and the back markers way behind me, leaving my orange car lonely in the middle. All that being said, I did gradually increase my lap times, get better qualification times, and although this might not have been the most fun I've had in the last 9 weeks, I did at least manage a couple of exciting races, and this one, my race of the week, is picked for being particularly exciting rather than the overall result I obtained. On the grid, I qualified 12th with a fairly under par 2 minute 9 seconds. I was capable of getting a 2 minute 8, but sadly not without getting an off track, so I guess that doesn't count. So away from the green flag, and no real problems to start with, but we've got this lovely straight here at Imola. The problems start at this first corner. It's a tight 90 degrees left, followed by a tight 90 degrees right, and I've actually been crashed out twice this week at that very corner, which is very disappointing. See that I am a little bit overcautious coming out of that corner, and I lose a place to the green number 10 here. Sneaks past me before we get to the second set of double bends here at Imola. It's okay. I don't mind losing a place this early in the race. A lot of things can happen in a 30-minute race, especially when the cars are as tightly packed as you can see here. I've got the black car there right close behind me. I kind of like to put a little bit of distance between me and him because I know up ahead there is a chicane where I tend to brake a lot earlier than other people do. I think, again, I'm just not quite as confident with these chicanes as I possibly could be. Might be something I could try and practice with active reset, because I think that's pretty good for that. I've not really dealt with that at all. Maybe I'll try that next week. But we're coming through these tight bends here again. If you go too far out on that green curb, you will get an off track. And honestly, I was so sick of getting off tracks by the end of this week. We're coming up now on this chicane here, and the green number 10 has overtaken the blue car in front of me, gained himself another place, but I'm still holding on to place number 13. Isn't that fantastic? I'm place number 13. I started 12th on the grid, and I'm 13th as we come round to end this first lap. It's okay. It's okay. Let's not panic. Remember, this race is 30 minutes long. We don't need to win it on the first lap. So we're coming around this last bend here, and I am now starting to put a gap between me and the black car behind me, which is nice because that gives me a little bit of room. I don't have to drive so much in my mirrors. I can concentrate now on gaining on the cars in front of me. If I can get close enough to them on these straights in particular, it's a great place for drafting. You really can zip up the inside of these people. And of course, you've got this tight corner at the top here that you've got to be careful of. There's that huge gravel trap there. I went into that gravel trap quite mercilessly in one race and got such a slow down penalty it nearly put me completely out of the race. I'm catching blue now. I've got him on a draft, but I don't really want to overtake him at this particular corner. It's just a little bit too dangerous. I know there are better overtaking spots ahead of me. Behind me, black has lost a place to the orange and black car now, so orange and black is now the car that's chasing me. He's doing a bit better than black and closing that gap, so really I should be thinking about overtaking blue as soon as possible. That way I can let blue have the problem of the orange and black car behind me and see how that pans out. Now we're into this corner. Again, you've got to be careful of going too far onto the green there. There seems to be this arbitrary line there. If you go a little bit beyond it, you get an off track. I never quite worked out where it was. I should have spent more time practicing it. I should have taken that tip that I've got earlier on in this series where you drive slowly around the track and try to work out where all the off tracks are, what you can do, where you can go to the limits. But unfortunately, I only had time either to race or to practice, and I chose to race. Right or wrong, that may be. Looking at the orange and black car catching me, we could perhaps say it was not the right decision to go, not totally the right decision anyway, because I'm just simply not racing as fast as I possibly could. I'm too far away now from the blue car in front of me, which is disappointing. If I could have got closer to him on this epic straight, I would have been able to draft him. Instead, we've got orange and black there closing in behind me, and he's able to draft me as we cross the line now, entering lap number 3. And it's close. It really is close. He could come down the inside of me and there's very little I could do about it. And in fact, he does just that, gaining a place from me. Though I think at some point a car has gone off because I am now gone all the way up to place number 10. I'm not quite sure what happened there. We've lost a couple of cars somewhere in the mix of it. So I've gone from place 12 to place 10, even though 2 cars have overtaken me. Up ahead there we can see green and orange and black now are in the mix. Blue has got past green at some point there. And it's all looking very, very tight. Orange and Black, he's determined to get past him. What car is he? He's car number 9, isn't he? He's determined to get past car number 10, but he can't quite find the pace to get there. Car number 10 is outpacing him on the straights and getting around the corners a little bit quicker than him. It's only really, I think, when the blue car in front of him, which is car number 8, I think, is slowing down car number 10, that car number 9 is able to gain any room on him at all. So basically it's the car at the very front there, the blue car, that's causing most of the problems for the green car. As we come into the chicane here again, it's always a little bit tricky, this. Look, people brake and they go up. You never quite know if they're going to lose control and come out of there really badly. But hey, no, it's all okay. We're good. I've got loads of distance between me and the car behind me now. Look, whoa, super amounts of distance. I like that. There must have been some crashing action going on there for me to have that much distance. I can really firmly relax now and start thinking about my lap time, keeping myself consistent and trying to catch up those cars in front. I know I said that earlier in the race, and here I am again trying to do it again. But you know, that's racing, isn't it? When you're going round lap after lap and doing these 2 minute 10 seconds, 2 minute 8 seconds laps, whatever. It's the same story over and over again. You've just got to try and be consistent and think about what it is you need to do at that particular lap. Don't have a big plan, don't have a grand scheme. Just look at where you are in the race and how you can overcome the obstacles in front of you to gain a place. Now, right now, I'm thinking that if I hang back a little bit, these cars are racing very close together, very tight. At some point, I think there's going to be a little bit of contact. I think there was a little bit there. Orange and Black, I think, contacted green a little bit, and he had to back off. This allows me to sneak up on the inside of him. I don't think I've quite got the pace to catch him on this particular corner, but if I can get in close and stay close to him, by the time we reach the home straight, I will be able to draft him. He's already easing away a bit from me, but we've got quite a few corners yet and chicane, and I think I'm actually slightly better going through that chicane than the Orange and Black one is, so we will see. This corner here is troublesome for me. I can do it at speed, but I usually end up getting an off track if I go too far. I think I probably got one just then. You don't have to go too far to get an off track there. You really don't. It's very disappointing. And we're coming up the hill now towards the chicane. Can I catch Orange and Black as we go through the chicane? It's anybody's race now. He's through nice and quick. I didn't get the pace that I wanted. Disappointing. But still, there's plenty of cars in front of us. I'm not seeing a massive lead between my car and the very front of the pack, which is good. It's always disappointing when those cars are way into the distance and you know there's no way you're ever going to catch them unless those cars crash, which they might well do. Who knows? So I'm too far away from Orange and Black now, and that's a bit of a shame. And we're coming up on the beginning of lap 5, and it's kind of starting to look like 10th place is going to be my final position for this race. I don't know. I mean, there's 15, 16 laps in this race, and anything can happen, as I said earlier, but who knows? That same story continued all the way through to lap number 10, with me continually chasing the green car but not managing to get past him, and the red car with all his cohort followers getting closer and closer to me. I did manage to get down the side on this particular straight, but again, I wasn't able to take him, and there was a little bit of door banging, and I went a little bit wide, a little bit of squirreling, which allowed the red cars tragically to close the gap even more on me. And as we come down this particular straight, you can see he's drafting me successfully and got a great line on me coming into this corner. He's overcooked it a little bit though, and it sends him wide into the gravel. He'll get a slow down for that, and also he's lost a little bit of speed, and I'm able to try to sneak past him, but no, he holds on to it, and we're all a little bit messy now. Look at this, red, orange, red. This is not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be past green and safe from all of this chaos, but no, here I am in the midst of the chaos. All cars on all sides of me. I don't really rate their driving. They probably don't rate mine either, but here we are. Race is what it is, and we are going into this tight corner with all four of us chomping at the bit to maintain our places. I've not got the pace on any of them. They're all coming past me. I'm losing places left, right and centre. So far I've dropped down to place 11. Be nice if I could get some of those back, but I don't see how I can possibly do it. Not with this particular style of driving that I've got going on here. The only thing that I can see that's going to happen now is that last red car that's behind me will get past me and I will lose yet another place, sending me all the way back to place number 12, which is where I started on the grid, where I worked my way up from to place number 10, and it's where I'm working my way back to right now. This is very disappointing, it has to be said. There's no way I can ignore the fact that lack of practice, lack of preparation, failure to use any of the tools that I've looked at during this mission improvement series, the Garage 61, Trophy AI, any of these really, even the bloody driving line probably would have helped me out here. And as we come into this corner, that final red car is looking to steal the place from me. And there we go. I am now back in 12th place. Oh, how disappointing is that? As we come up on lap number 12, we are 2/3 of the way through the race and everybody is really tight here and they're all fighting for position in front of me. I can see it's going to end really badly, and yes, Orange and Black is shoved off the track by the red car, takes a nasty hit into the barrier. I would hazard to guess that's his race over as he goes back to the pits for a prolonged repair that will probably take him beyond the duration of this race. Green is back out again in front of the red cars, and white car comes past me and he wants to get into the mix of all of this chaos in front of me. And I'm like, fine, sure, yeah, I'm not going to stop you. You want to be racing these guys? You go for it. They seem to be wrecking each other out quite nicely. I'm not particularly keen on being in the middle of it all. I'm just going to stay here, bide my time, and look what happens. And White has slotted himself between the two red cars. He's a man that knows no fear, obviously. As we go through the tight corner, all of us trying to avoid the off-track. I think I probably got one there. And back down the hill, it's anybody's race here. Look how close we all are. This is just micros away from a disaster. If one of those cars wrecks out in front of me here, I might get caught in it as well. I'm hoping to avoid that, but I can't ease any further back from them because I won't be in a position to draft them and possibly overtake. There's not a place to do that as we come through the chicane here. White car takes that chicane a little bit too heavily, and now he's in danger of being overtaken by the red as they come into the downhill section. There's a nice negative line that you can take coming under this bridge, which allows you to undertake the front car. But red car doesn't quite get the pace for that one. And we come round this final corner heading towards the line. And yes, green car has got way out ahead there. That's really good to see. I'm kind of rooting for the green car in a way because I thought he was doing so well. And then all of these red cars and the white car came and, started to cause chaos, and he got mixed up in it and he lost a couple of places, but he's found his racing line again and he's leading the pack. I don't know who you are, William, but you have my respect. You raced an awesome race here. You really did. You never lost your nerve. You kept your line. You kept your cool. I've got to give you full respect for the way you raced this race. Up ahead, the three cars that are trying to get past green and claim that place, at least unsuccessfully try, are really racing quite tight lines again as we come into some of these slower parts of the track. Yeah, it's difficult to see who's going to gain the advantage here. Red is really closely following white, and the front red is closely following the green car. They're really all vying for as much chaos as they possibly can, I think. Somebody brakes just a fraction of a second too early, and it's all over for lots of different people. That's the only thing that I can see there. It won't be over for me because my poor driving is making me go backwards here in this race, and I get an off track there for my pains, and I still can't catch these people. I'm coming up now on the chicane. Maybe I'll catch a little bit of space there. I tend to be a little bit quicker than these other cars coming through there for whatever reason. Perhaps I just don't understand fully the dangers of going through that chicane the way that I do. But no, I'm still at least a second behind Bernard, who's heading down the hill now. And they are all very close together, and White takes a very risky manoeuvre on the negative line, nudges on the side of Red. They both go over the sand trap. White spins out and takes out the second Red. 3 cars taken out in that one corner, and I wasn't one of them. I sailed through smugly over the line as we head into lap number 14 of 16. I've got a decent lead on the nearest red car behind me. Well, sort of decent. I mean, it's 2.5 seconds. It's better than I've had the entire race. It's okay. I'm going to accept that as a decent lead. Chasing green, I don't think I've got any chance of catching William up there in front of me. He was never caught by any of those other cars who put him under so much pressure, and he never lost his nerve. I don't think he's going to be worried too much by seeing my car coming up in his mirrors anymore. But I'm going to give it a try anyway. I'm going to see what I can do. We've got 2 more laps left of this race. Anything more can happen, I'm sure, but at this moment, I've managed to nudge myself up into 8th place by watching everybody else crash. And although that's not a particularly skillful way of winning, I'm going to accept it because I think it's probably going to be the best position I'm going to get all week if I can maintain that position. I've got 2 reds behind me. One is about 1.5 seconds behind me. He's made at least a second up, and the other one's about 4.5 seconds behind me. That's okay. That's okay. I'm going to hang on to this lead as much as I possibly can. I'm going to try to avoid getting as many off tracks as I possibly can in doing that, and I am just going to aim to maintain 8th place all the way through to the final lap. As we head up here towards the line, this is the white flag. This is the final lap of this particular race. I can't catch green, but maybe, just maybe, if I can stay ahead of red, I can maintain this 8th place. It's going to be tricky. He's overtaken me a number of times in this race. He's definitely got more pace than me, but maybe he's got a little bit of damage on his car from all that kerfuffle. I don't know. I'm not taking any chances. I want to try and stay as far ahead of him as I can, but he is closing the gap, and he takes an inside line, but I defend that corner and cut him off, going through as fast as I can, trying again not to take an off track. White car is getting suspiciously close in the background there as well. I really don't want him in the mix, but it seems unlikely that he will catch us up on this final lap. I just don't think there is enough race for him to be able to do that. Not unless I make a really tragic mistake, and let's not rule that out, eh? We're heading now to this tight corner, and I take an off track, and red takes an even worse off track, but nobody's worried about off tracks right now. We're just worried about the position we've got and keeping that position, or in red's case, taking a position as we head down in these last gasps of this race up the hill now towards the brutal chicane. This is do or die for me. I'm not particularly confident going through it, but I've got to do it as quickly as I possibly can, otherwise red will get a run on me going down this hill towards the final corners. Green is smugly ahead of me there. It doesn't look like anything's going to go wrong for him, so he's definitely going to get position number 7, and to be honest with you, it's well deserved. He's earned that position, and I'm determined to earn my position here as we come into the final curve of this particular race. Red is right behind me here. He's close enough to draft me. We've got quite a bit of distance before we finally get to the checkered flag, but I don't think he's close enough, not quite close enough to catch me before we cross that line, and I take place number 8. And that was a very close finish, a lot closer than probably I would have wanted it to be, but hey, it is what it is, and I'm pleased with position number 8 at the end of the race.
That was exhausting.
Conclusions. So this week, I would say on balance, I didn't have as much fun as I had on previous week's racing, like last week, for example. This could be because I was putting in my practice time on track during a race time. And as such, I was playing catch up with learning the track and figuring out where the best overtake places were and where I should take a negative line to avoid being rammed off the track. This method of learning by doing is sometimes a valid technique, but if you are surrounded by fast-moving cars where drivers who are also perhaps learning by doing, you have the ingredients for a lot of chaos and a number of very nasty crashes. In a 30-minute race with no fast repair, this can mean spending a fair amount of time sitting in the pits wondering if you should simply forfeit the race. And frankly, there are probably better things we could all be doing with our valuable computer gaming time than watching a repair timer count down in the pits. This week's experiment of mine into finding out if I have learnt enough to forego practice sessions if I can learn a track by racing a track has come back as a profound negative. I'm just not good enough to do this, and in future weeks, no matter what the population count is of whichever series I am attempting, I will be looking to spend as much time as possible implementing those tools that I have found so valuable for improving my performance on track. Next week, I am going to be racing at Watkins Glen in the Production Car Challenge, where rain is possible. What could possibly go wrong? I hope you can join me next week for week 10 of Mission Improvement, where I will also be experimenting further with setups. In the meantime, I hope you found this video helpful. And until the next one, race clean, and I'll see you on track. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click the like button, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe. Click the little bell icon if you want to be notified of any future videos.